regulus.co.
Welcome back. You're listening to Buffy Williams, the host of the New Heights Educational Group, the New Heights Show on Education, and tonight's topic is arts education. And we were just talking about the numerous lessons that art education can have for a student, and how art can be essential in making students more creative thinkers. And it's an impressive benefit of education to have within something that influences the entire school culture and kind of gives students a pathway to also encouraging our education for years to come. And students who are more active in extracurricular activities and definitely in the arts tend to stay in school, and they succeed in school, and they have success in life and generally in their work life as well. And these are, impressive benefits. And even though the data is out there, one of the points that I did want to make tonight is that our education is recognized as a core academic subject under the federal Elementary and Secondary Education Act. And at least 48 of our states have adopted standards for learning in the arts. And that's important because with art being a core subject regarding our education system, we know that sometimes funding is not where it should be or could be. We're taking part in the census right now, and for a lot of people, they sometimes struggle with, why should I fill out the census and why is it important? Well, our education would be just a simple way, or education in general would be a simple way to explain that, because the more people, the more accurate the census is in counting the number of people that we have living in a particular area directly impacts the funding that your local public schools will receive for programs that are essential for our children or our students to be able to have fulfilling education. And that's really what we're advocating for. We're advocating for them to have a diverse educational experience, an enriched educational experience, and we want to be able to equip them with all the things that we think are necessary in order for them to be productive citizens in the future. And so the census is one way we can do that. But again, our education, we talked about in the beginning regarding our education, Americans for the Arts has a plethora of resources that are there for parents and educators and students. They have the Art Education Field Guide, and it's designed just to give you talking points so that you can talk with your policy makers about the field of education and art education, and how you can connect with partnerships in the community to make art education a part of, an enhanced part of your school system. They also have 10 simple ways that you can provide art in the classroom, whether it's through art, music, dance, or theater, which are simple ways to get your children involved with the arts in life in general. They also have a guide that gives benchmark gauges to see if your school is actually committed to art education. So it's kind of like a bullet point. Well, are they implementing this? Are they implementing that? Just small ways that schools can implement the arts within a school culture, because it shifts the feel for the students. And then we know that learning begins at home. So they also have family activities, that simple ways that parents can put together things that children will enjoy at home. And they have a teaching artist companion that gives a framework of interactive ways to activate art culture within the classroom and excellence within the classroom, and how they can use art to change a community. I know that a lot of large cities will use arts maybe like on the side of an abandoned building to enhance the look and the feel of a particular building in a particular area. And so those are small ways that art can make a big impact and give you ways to tell your leaders, what you're thinking about and why you think art education is important, and advocating for keeping the arts in public schools and giving it a platform to make education a more well-rounded experience, and also creating different things that foster the engagement and collaboration between the partnerships between educators and practitioners around the world through art education. And there are also listservs that you can get on, that have global audiences. And remember that also when we talked about Learning Commons, the arts was a part of the Learning Commons culture. And for those of you who missed that episode, Learning Commons are simply what we know as libraries, which kind of morphed into media centers, and then now the common trend is leaning towards calling them Learning Commons. But in these Learning Commons, they had codes or sections in those particular spaces. One area was designated for the arts, where you also have your theater and drama department or show choir department, but you also had an area within the Learning Commons where art could come alive. And so it's no longer the quiet spaces that we were accustomed to. And also with that, it had a hands-on area like the makers area, where the students would craft something together. Maybe it was a quilt, or making or knitting hats, or seeing how geometry or physics of certain things work together. And so that's another way to just see art in motion and look at it out. Why does it matter? And creating some type of action plan to let our congressional leaders and governors and state legislators and even local officials know how important we think it is to continue to have art education and why it matters to you, and giving you the opportunity to share your work of cutting edge arts in the culture of education as we see it today, because an example of arts today, we just had recently, I think it was last week, on the 16th, Worldwide Day of Gratitude in honor of COVID-19 heroes, where through the arts they were encouraging people nationwide to learn the song by Bill Withers, Lean on Me, as a way to share together in what we're going through right now, and unifying the forces between all Americans and all cultures across the world, and singing the song or learning the song Lean on Me by Bill Withers, which is an iconic song. So that's just a way that art can be impactful, even in trying times, and also can be motivating to let others know that they're not alone, and that we can experience these things together. And that's one way of art bridging the gap between cultures, and so that we can all share that similar experience, even though we're located in different parts of the world. And also there's Arts U, like the letter U, that has webinars and seminars and new series, and leadership forums around art leaders that are seeking and even demanding creative and open-ended learning regarding arts education, and for the purpose of valuing art education and having a more balanced curriculum that also has a rigorous national standard that students can use as benchmarks, I would say, for art education and what they're learning, and an appreciation for the arts before they actually go to college or enter into the workforce. So these art learning experiences, show students how to demonstrate and how beneficial it is for arts and arts culture to be a part of everything that our students do, and students having access to community learning arts opportunities, and having arts education from pre-K all the way through the 12th grade education within the public school setting, homeschool setting, or charter school setting. No matter what setting you're in, arts education and that collaboration and support for that can foster, long-term advocacy for the arts and arts programs. And so the Department of Education actually has a particular program that's called It's at innovation.ed.gov, and it's What We Do, Arts Education's national program. And this program supports, on a national level, a high quality of arts education for children and youth, with a special emphasis on serving students from low-income background. And what they do is they provide professional development based on the national standards for pre-K through 12th grade educators. It also develops and disseminates instructional materials and online resources for multiple arts disciplines and for arts educators. It is an education arts program that centers around music, dance, theater, media arts, visual arts, including folk arts for pre-K programs through 12th grade. And also it has a community and national outreach activities to strengthen and expand partnerships among schools, school districts, and communities throughout the country. And so, again, that program is Arts in Education National Program, and you can find out more information about that at ed.gov, and it's innovation.ed.gov. And so I hope that this arts education episode was enriching for you. Art education is, again, something that I'm very passionate about, and something that I took very great joy in participating in. Even pottery, any type of arts, actually, I was very always amused and amazed by the arts. And so even if you are not as great a fan of the arts as I am, I'm hoping that you will at least advocate for arts education for our students and allow them the opportunity to at least explore the different ways that the arts can be impactful within their lives, and allow them to use their imagination and creativity to build and build things, because these are the ways that students come up with sometimes ingenious ideas of innovation within the classroom. And so if you haven't visited a museum, maybe you could do a virtual museum tour with your child, or maybe you could do an art project at home, and you can make something to spark their interest in how was that actually made, and how beautiful it is, and allow them to display that within your home. And once we get a chance to actually get out in nature again, also explore how beautiful the arts are in the world. And so tonight's episode again was art education, and I hope that you were able to learn something new, and I hope that it was an enjoyable episode for you. And I want to thank you again for being a part of the New Heights Show on Education, the New Heights Educational Group, and for joining me on this Tuesday night. On next week,